You look in the mirror after weeks of eating well, and you notice your face is clearly slimmer. Your collarbones stand out more, and your sleeves feel a little looser around your arms. Even your favorite pair of jeans might fit slightly better through the thighs. But when you look down at your stomach, it feels like almost nothing has changed. That experience can be genuinely frustrating and make you wonder if your effort is even working. It is completely natural to ask why your midsection seems to protect fat so stubbornly. Most people assume they are simply eating too much or falling short on discipline. But the real answer has very little to do with personal willpower. Your body is not holding on to belly fat to frustrate you or ruin your motivation. It is simply following basic biological rules that govern how different fat cells behave. By the end of this video, you will understand what is actually happening beneath your skin and why your stomach changes on its own timeline. Once you see the hidden biology of belly fat, your entire relationship with your body will start to make sense. When we talk about belly fat, we usually imagine it as one single layer of tissue. But what you see around your waist is actually divided into two distinct biological worlds. The first type is subcutaneous fat, which sits directly under your skin. This is the soft, pinchable layer you can physically hold between your fingers. Subcutaneous fat plays a major role in shaping how your body looks on the outside. But deeper inside, beneath your abdominal wall, lives a completely different tissue called visceral fat. Visceral fat wraps around your internal organs, resting close to your liver, stomach, and intestines. You cannot pinch visceral fat or see it directly when you look in the mirror. These two compartments do not just sit in different places. They act like two entirely different systems. They respond to different hormonal signals, process energy differently, and break down at different speeds. So when you try to lose belly fat, you're never dealing with a single problem. You're communicating with two separate biological environments that each play by their own rules. Many of us grew up thinking of fat cells as passive storage bags that just sit there holding extra calories. We imagine them filling up like balloons when we eat and shrinking when we diet. But modern science shows fat tissue acts much more like an active endocrine organ. Your fat cells are constantly listening to your body and sending chemical messages back in return. They produce and release regulatory messengers, including leptin, which helps your brain gauge long-term energy stores. They also interact with insulin, stress hormones like cortisol, and sex hormones like estrogen and testosterone. Visceral fat cells, in particular, have a very active blood supply and a high density of hormone receptors. That makes them exceptionally sensitive to daily changes in your routine, stress, and sleep. Think of your belly fat not as stubborn dead weight, but as living tissue participating in your daily survival. It is constantly adjusting to keep your internal systems stable and protected. When you realize your fat cells are communicating with your brain, the whole picture changes. You stop fighting a silent war against your stomach and start understanding how your metabolism truly works. Have you ever noticed that two people with the exact same weight can carry their body shape completely differently? One person might carry more energy in their hips and legs, while another stores it around their midsection. Your body does not decide where to store energy by random chance or bad luck. Your genetics play a significant role in determining where your fat cells naturally expand first. Biological sex and shifting hormone levels also guide how your body distributes its reserves. Younger women, for instance, often store more subcutaneous fat around the lower body to support reproductive biology. As hormone levels naturally fluctuate with age, the body often tends to shift more storage toward the abdominal area. Men tend to store a larger proportion of their energy reserves around the midsection across their entire lives. The natural aging process also introduces subtle metabolic shifts that influence where cells hold on to energy. That means your waistline is partly a reflection of your unique biological blueprint and stage of life. Comparing your stomach to someone else's ignores the deep genetic individuality inside every human body. Your body is not making a mistake. It is simply running the genetic program it was given. Here's a fascinating perspective shift that explains why so many people feel stuck. You might feel like fat is disappearing from everywhere on your body except your stomach. But that frustrating feeling is often a visual trick of human perception rather than reality. When your body enters an energy deficit, it mobilizes fuel from fat stores across your whole frame. It draws tiny lipid droplets from your face, neck, shoulders, and abdomen at the same time. But areas with smaller total fat deposits reveal changes to your eyes much faster. Think of it like taking a single cup of water out of a small glass versus a large bowl. When you take that exact same cup from a wide bowl, the surface barely looks different. If your midsection holds a larger volume of fat, that early reduction is simply harder to see. On top of that, your body often mobilizes deep visceral fat before you ever notice subcutaneous fat shrinking. You could be making meaningful metabolic progress inside while the mirror looks virtually unchanged. Let us talk about something almost everyone experiences: the sudden evening belly. You wake up in the morning feeling relatively lean, but by 8 at night, your stomach looks noticeably fuller. When that happens, your brain might panic and assume you gained body fat in a single afternoon. But real body fat does not accumulate or disappear over the course of 8 hours. Your midsection houses several feet of digestive organs that expand and contract throughout the day. The weight of recent meals, the pace of your digestion, and normal gut contents change your shape hour by hour. A meal with a little extra sodium or a stressful workday can cause your body to hold extra water. Natural monthly hormone shifts also trigger fluid retention that temporarily changes how your waistline feels. Even your physical posture and the resting tone of your core muscles dramatically alter your appearance. Standing with a relaxed posture or an arched back pushes your stomach outward without adding a single gram of fat. A fuller stomach in the evening is simply proof that your digestive system is doing its daily job. Knowing this frees you from letting a temporary reflection dictate your mood or self-worth. Understanding the difference between these fat layers gives you a healthier focus for your lifestyle. Subcutaneous fat is largely an external aesthetic feature, but visceral fat connects closely to your metabolic health. Because visceral fat sits right against your organs, it communicates directly with your liver through the portal vein. When visceral fat levels are high, it can influence how your body handles blood sugar and daily energy balance. That is why health practitioners often look at waist measurements alongside overall health markers. Keeping visceral fat in a healthy range helps support steady blood pressure and natural cardiovascular function. But managing your waistline should never become an exercise in fear or unrealistic perfectionism. You do not need a razor-thin waist or visible six-pack abs to have a healthy, functioning body. Gentle, consistent habits like walking daily and eating whole foods quietly help your body manage visceral fat. As your daily habits improve, your body tends to use up excess visceral fat to keep your organs running smoothly. A healthier waistline is not just an aesthetic trophy to chase. It's a natural reflection of giving your internal organs the calm, balanced environment they need to thrive. Let us address one of the oldest and most stubborn fitness myths: targeted ab workouts. Many people spend months doing endless sit-ups and planks, hoping to melt fat directly off their waist. When you do core exercises, you're strengthening your abdominal wall and improving trunk stability. Strong core muscles support your posture, protect your lower spine, and make daily movements easier. But contracting a muscle does not give your body an order to pull fuel from the fat sitting right on top of it. Your working muscles receive energy through blood flow that draws fuel from your entire body. You can build remarkably strong, resilient abdominal muscles underneath a soft layer of skin. That strength is genuinely valuable for your spine and joint health, even if those muscles remain hidden. Core exercises build the muscular foundation beneath, while whole body energy balance determines how much fat sits above. Letting go of the idea that crunches burn belly fat saves you from endless frustration. You can appreciate your core strength without expecting abdominal exercises to perform biological miracles. Training for functional strength while letting your body manage fat loss at its own speed brings real peace of mind. It is completely normal for changes around your midsection to feel frustratingly slow. Several biological factors work together to create the feeling that nothing is happening. The blend of deep visceral tissue, surface fat, digestive fullness, and fluid shifts creates a complex visual picture. When your body burns fat, that loss is distributed across your entire surface area rather than focused in one spot. A subtle reduction spread across your whole body is almost impossible to detect with a passing glance in the mirror. Day-to-day fluid shifts can easily mask the slow, quiet fat loss taking place underneath. Your genetics also set the timeline for which areas release their stored energy first and last. That means slow visual feedback is a predictable part of human physiology, not a sign that you are failing. Just because your waistline looks similar this week does not mean your body is standing still. Inside, your liver, cardiovascular system, and cellular pathways are already benefiting from your daily care. Meaningful internal changes always happen long before they become obvious on the outside. Trusting that invisible progress allows you to stay consistent without getting discouraged. Here's the new way you should think about your midsection and your progress from now on. Your midsection is not a stubborn flaw or an enemy you need to conquer with extreme restriction. It is a living, complex biological center that protects your organs, communicates with your brain, and processes life daily. You cannot force your genetics to release fat in an order that matches your visual preferences. But understanding these biological truths gives you the power to stop blaming yourself. You no longer have to panic over evening bloating, crash diet over a single reflection, or do hundreds of pointless crunches. Instead, you can look at your stomach with understanding, knowing it is simply following its own natural timeline. Real progress is not about forcing your body to change overnight through punishment. It's about supporting your biology with nourishing food, daily movement, and adequate rest week after week. When you give your body consistent care, it will naturally manage its energy reserves in its own healthy way. Be patient with your biology, let go of perfection, and take pride in the quiet steps you take every day. If you want to understand the simple food habits that keep your energy steady and support your metabolism, click the video on your screen right now.
Knowledge is infinite, and what I know is, honestly, just a grain of sand in the desert. Hitting the like button and subscribing is totally free, but it's a huge motivation for me to keep making better videos for you. Thank you so much for your support. I hope this gave you some helpful insights into health. If you have any thoughts, questions, or comments, feel free to drop them below.